I'm a product guy, and I have three questions that I'm very interested in because you, as a Dane, also started. I want, of course, to grow in the United States. It's doing really well here in Denmark, but I've been trying like for maybe 3 or 4 years now to like punch a hole to get onto the English speaking market.
I'll tell you what I've done,
Okay.
and then I can tell you what I'm looking at now.
You and
To see you.
so I'm in Denmark at a small island.
I've heard nice things about that country.
Yeah. So and I'm grateful to be here and being able to ask you some questions. I have Simplero with my other company. I have worked as a hypnotherapist for 25 years. My previous career was in the Royal Danish Air Force, so it was kind of a shift. But to
Nice.
work with people and
I was in the Royal Danish Air Force as well as a recruit back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, we should get a talk about that sometime.
Yes.
Yes. So, and every step of the journey had added something to the work I do today, whether it's teaching or training and, helping people. So I'm also in the helping business, and my wife and I created an app called Hello Mind that is in the App Store, Danish and also in English language. And the thing is that we started 8 years ago, I think, when we hacked the first iPhone to get to develop on it. And I'm not a developer; I'm a product guy. And I have three questions that I'm very interested in because you, as a Dane, also started. I want, of course, to grow in the United States. It's doing really well here in Denmark, but I've been trying like for maybe 3 or 4 years now to like punch a hole to get onto the English speaking market. And we have been in Associated Press. We have been mentioned different places and tried some conferences over there. And also had like a PR agency, costed a lot of money, like 100K Danish crowns a month and such. So, and
Yeah.
then we just skipped all that and I wanted to we have a team now of 4 people working with Hello Mind, and then we have like our development in India.
So I'll tell you what I've done,
Okay.
and then I can tell you what I'm looking at now.
Yeah.
So what I did was I bought Marie Forleo's B School back in the day, in like 2012. So it's 2012 is an online course for online business people. It has my ideal avatar as is her customer, and the reason I bought it was not for the content, but for her Facebook group. Right. So as I bought that $2,000 course, she put me in that Facebook group. And then I just went in there and answered people's questions about technology, websites, business, online business, that kind of stuff. And then I was like, oh, by the way, I've created this product called Simplero, and I give B schoolers the first 3 months free to get started. And that got me my first 25 customers. And then it was word of mouth from there. This was back in 2012, right? So it's a while ago. The world is different today. But that's honestly what I did. And then from there, partners and word of mouth and just slow and steady growth. What I would do, and what we are planning on doing this year, is paid advertising. Well, I mean, first of all, doubling down on our partner program and actually hiring an affiliate manager and someone to manage it, acquire new affiliates, motivate and engage the people that are affiliates and have signed up, et cetera. So we're doing that. But paid advertising, we've just Facebook, honestly, just straight up Facebook. You can target, if you want the US, you target the US, right? And then you just play that game. It's super competitive, right? Like in the US, Facebook, it's expensive. It's very, very competitive. You have to be really strong on your funnels. But the way to think of it is, are you familiar with the concept of growth marketing?
Yeah.
Or growth hacking, right?
Yeah.
So,
yes, some of it, not extensively.
Yeah.
I'm more a product guy.
There's two resources. One is Sean Ellis has a book called Hacking Growth. That's sort of the Bible of this. He's the one that made the term popular. So I would definitely get a copy of that. There's also Julian Shapiro. His website is julian.com, julian.com. He has I forget what he calls it, a guide, a book of some sort, like an online book on his website on growth marketing, just, walking through all of exactly what it is. There's, some great YouTube videos as well with Sean Ellis talking about growth marketing and what it is. But I'll give you the short story is this. You put together the short story is that you run experiments where you measure everything to test things, right? To see what works. And anything's game, right? So it can be a channel, it can be a specific ad on YouTube, it can be a landing page, it can be a headline on a landing page, it can be your onboarding flow, the sign up flow, all of these things, anything that you can come up with, a referral system, like changing an email that goes out, like whatever, you come up with tests, ideas for things to test. You rank order them by, the ICE metric: impact, confidence, and ease. So how big of an impact do you think is going to have, 1 to 10? What's your confidence that is the impact it'll have, 1 to 10? And how easy is it to implement, 1 to 10? And then based on those criteria, loosely, you just choose, these are the 3 experiments we're going to run this week. And you want to get to a cadence where you're initiating 3 experiments every week, right? Velocity is key. You just got to test a bunch of stuff, and you have to be super methodical about defining the tests, having metrics in place, knowing exactly which KPI you're hoping to impact, and set it up so that whether it has the effect that you were hoping or not, you learn something that you can bring with you to the next iteration, right? So that's what I would do. So set the target very, very clearly. There's one goal right now. It's app installs to US customers, or it's, getting US customers to the point of activation, right? Activation is when your customers have the aha moment experience, like where they download the app, they get into the app, and they have that moment where they realize the value. I get what this can do for me now. You need to know what that is, and then do growth hacking, growth marketing, to run experiments and tests to get people to that point. And specifically, if US is where you want to go, that's where you focus on, right? That's how I would approach it. And then you will, just if you stay the course and you're disciplined about it, you'll get there. You'll figure it out. There's no question. And then just one other quick thing. There's a podcast that I was just listening to with Julian Shapiro, where he mentioned that specifically for apps, one thing that he's found is in his growth experiments is putting a landing page between the ad and the app store is really powerful. When you pay for ads, and if you just take them straight to the app store page where they can install the app, well, that's all the marketing you get. But if you take them to a landing page where you can pitch your app and why they should get it, and then take them to the app store landing page, you can have a lot more success, depending on obviously how good that landing page is. But it gives you a chance to really pitch why they should get the app and what the value is, and pre-frame them so that they have success with it. So it's a thing to test, right? And then you keep testing that landing page and changes on it until you're like, good, now let's try something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's really good. And I was just jolting it down, everything here as quickly as I could.
Cool. Well, we can get you the recording too.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Jay, make sure that Jacob gets a recording here.
Thanks.
Yeah, I got you.
Really good. And yeah, because it's so many things that you can experiment on all the time. And it's just, you also have the daily operations, of course, and you know that. So,
Yeah.
so I wanted to ask you, I thought I had a question more on the team because I'm the product guy and also you as a programmer, you know, I'm more a mind programmer right now in that area. But you know, where did, what is the second most important person on the team in the company?
Second most being who's the most important being the founder? Is that you're thinking, or?
Yeah, yeah. And, outside the person, you know, that had
Yeah.
like.
I think my thinking, right? So, it's a good question, right? Because I think it depends a little bit on where you are at in the process. For where you're at, it might be a marketer, right? A growth marketer, a growth lead, he calls it in Sean Ellis's book, Hack and Growth. That might be the person that's going to really move the needle for you. Having someone who's just focused on that, because you're the CEO. If it's your responsibility, there's always going to be other things as well. Having one person where you're like, this is your sole focus, your sole responsibility, just allows that person to really go deep with it. It's something that I'm starting to employ more in my organization. Is each person on my leadership team, there's like one responsibility that they have that I want to hear about. I don't want to hear them talk about anything else until they solve this damn problem, right? So having that sort of accountability structure where you're like, this is the only thing that I'm going to hear you talk about at all until this is solved, can really reinforce the priorities in a team, right? The other thing to think of is right now I'm obsessed with the idea of an integrator. So to think of it as director of operations, COO, head of ops, call it what you will, but there's a book by Cameron Herold, Gino Wickman, something like that, called Rocket Fuel, which talks about the visionary integrator pairing, right? So as the founder, we're usually the visionary, not always, could be an integrator, but the visionary, big picture ideas, 100 ideas a minute, right? And good at sales and big outside relationships and things like that. Not good at accountability, making things run on time, follow through, all of that stuff, right? So that's something that I'm super obsessed with right now, is finding that integrator to pair with. So that could be, I think once you're at that stage where that's the next hire, that is the most important person. And that might be the first person that you want to get, because like at 4 people, it might be a little early, but like that person is going to make a huge difference for you, because it's going to free you up to do what you do best and not keep sabotaging the organization because you're not really good at the integrator stuff, assuming that that's your profile too, right? And then the third thing I want to say is like, because that's what I'm doing literally right now, is the most critical person for me is to actually find a recruiter. Because like your number one job as a CEO is to hire great people, really, really good people, meaning they're a perfect match for your culture and your values. And they have the desire and the willingness and the capabilities that you need. Finding those right people means that you're free to, again, focus on the things that you want to focus on and that matter. So, and recruiting is freaking hard. And, we've gotten really good at the type of recruiting where you post job ads and figure out where they need to be posted and write them interestingly and doing the vetting and all that stuff. Where we're just starting to get into is sourcing, because the good talent is already in a job. They're not looking for a job, right? So if you want the best people, you have to be out there sourcing them yourself, headhunting, if you will. And so that for me is the priority right now, is finding a really good recruiter that we can have in-house as part of the team that really knows the culture. That person can double as a sort of a head of people kind of role. But for my aggressive growth plans for 2021, hiring and recruiting is number one. And then the first task that I'm going to ask this recruiter to do is to find me an integrator. And then we're going to build the growth marketing team.
Great. great insights. Did you,
Cool.
Calvin, did you get any investment for your company, or did you like just
fully bootstrapped?
All the way?
I funded it by selling courses and coaching programs. Yeah. Which is a great way to do it, honestly, because like, I mean, getting, equity is the most expensive way to get capital, period, right? Equity is by far the most expensive path to capital. Money's cheap these days, right? There's so much capital in the markets. It's all going into the stock market right now, despite the fact that everybody knows it's a bubble and we're printing money that like crazy, and there's a massive debt crisis and it's going to burst at some point. But everybody's sitting there with their damn cash and they're like, where the hell are we going to put this money other than the stock market? So you see the stock market go up and up. There's so much capital. You can do, convertible notes, you can do loans, you can do revenue-based financing. There's so many options, or you can do your own damn courses and coaching programs and products. And that's a great source of revenue as well. It's definitely something that I'm interested in doing with our business. It's just, if you have the audience already, right? It's like, what do you guys need? Put together the products, the offerings, the coaching, whatever it is that they need. You don't have to be the one delivering it. You can find some people who are, coaches are cheap too, right? Like you can hire those resources for cheap. So that's my path.
Thanks, Calvin.
The only reason for me to give equity would be if that's the only way to get access to people that I want, it's, for their know-how. Essentially, like Basecamp back in the day gave equity or sold equity to Jeff Bezos because they wanted Jeff Bezos, right? You don't get Jeff Bezos, for like he wouldn't be interested in for anything but equity. And that only lasted to like, I think 5 or 6 years ago. And then he got too busy and too big to even bother with them anymore. Right. So, but yeah, that would be the only reason I could see.
Nice.
Some really nice insights.
What up, YouTube? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, even if you freaking didn't, hit the subscribe button so you get more videos from me, and also hit the bell button so you get tick, 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 notified whenever there is a new video from me. Thank you very much. I'll catch you next time.